not gonna lie, I actually quite liked Moana. The film definitely has some familiar story tropes, and the acting, singing, and dancing are good. And halfway through the film, there is a great origin story catamaran sequence, which is generally breathtaking. Having said that, the pacing is very slow at times, and the story doesn't get going until the rock turns up. And let's be honest, the first 25 minutes they could have shaved off and summed up in a single line: our island is in trouble, help us. It's massively a cross between The Life of Pi, Waterworld, and A Perfect Storm, and it is essentially The Lord of the Rings but in the water. To think of this film as live action is a ridiculous notion. It is 90% CGI and 10% live action. Want some live action to go with your animation? So essentially, the story is that the island is in trouble and they can no longer grow crops, and the fish have pretty much died out. And so their resources are reducing by the day. And so it's up to Moana to restore balance to the island. And the way she has to do it is by essentially taking the heart of the island and returning it to its original place. And so the only person that can do this apparently is Maui, played by Dywane The Rock Johnson. And so it's her mission to go across the seas and try and find Maui to help save their island. So the film is genuinely fun and it's a good time, although the pace does slow down considerably at certain points of the film. And it's one of those things where the first 25 minutes could have been shaved off quite easily and been summed up in a single line, like I said at the intro of this video. And they spent a lot of time on the island and talking about like the culture and the people and all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, as good as that is, it's like it's just not necessary. You could have just had it like, our island is in trouble, please help us, go. And another thing I would say is that the singing and dancing were good, although it did need to vary up the dancing. It was literally that all the way through. And the songs were catchy. And obviously, we all know You're Welcome. And I had that song, still have that song in my head to this day since I saw the film. And it is just an earworm. I don't remember the lyrics, but I certainly remember the jam. And so it's like, and literally just been humming that all day long. So annoying, but it's a good song. It's a good song. Character-wise, it's quite an interesting journey because at the start, Maui's actually a bit of a arrogant douche to start with, and then as time goes on and character develops the relationship with Moana, then he starts to sort of become a different person and become somebody that helps her achieve her goals of saving the island and actually takes her under his wing, which is quite good to see. And it's a fun ride. And yeah, there are a few plot holes. For example, like at the end of the film, she's the one that actually puts the heart back into the island and restores the balance across the island and saves everybody. Whereas throughout the whole film, everybody's saying, oh, Maui's the only one that can save everybody. He's the only one that can restore balance. And he's just like, okay, cool. And then she goes and does it herself. So she had the heart of the island all this time, and she could have just gone, credits. But hey, that's just me. And another thing, the amount of times that they spent in the water, how did they not get hypothermia? Like, they were in it for quite some time, in, out, in, out. It's just like, oh, come on. Also, this film does rely heavily on CGI, and there's a lot of times where, yeah, it looks amazing, especially the water graphics. They look incredible, and some of these shots of the catamarans and the boats and some of those visuals are absolutely incredible, and so got to give him props for that for sure. And it's good, but to call it live action is ridiculous. Like 10% of it maybe is live action. Also, I would say that it's very similar story to The Lord of the Rings. Let me explain. So, Frodo has to take the ring back to whence it came from the fiery pits of Mordor. Moana has to take the heart of the island back to whence it came and place it, and then balance in the island will be restored. Sounds kind of similar. And also, there's a giant crab monster that is basically hiding in this cave, guarding all this gold, and it's very reminiscent of the desolation of Smaug and the giant fire-breathing dragon that is guarding all the gold, and it's sounds like very sort of similar. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. That's my hot take on it. It's a good film, but it is flawed, and there are some familiar aspects to it. And yeah, it's great for kids. Kids won't really sort of worry about all this sort of stuff. They'll just see the pretty colours on screen and the fun songs. Also, by far the funniest thing out of the entire film and got the most laughs was actually the chicken, which is hilarious. And so it was definitely the funniest part of the whole film for sure. But yeah, it's an interesting insight as well into that whole culture. Like, I know nothing about it, and I don't really know too much of what's going on or that side of things. And so I guess just got to take their word for it that's the culture. But yeah, it's a good time. I had fun, and unexpectedly so. Like, I hadn't seen the animation version of this film, and I just knew that The Rock was in it, and he did "You're Welcome," and it was Lin-Manuel Miranda who did the cartoon and stuff. So I had nothing to really sort of compare it to. But yeah, there's a great little animation sequence with Maui's tattoos, which I thought was kind of clever. And he has a tattoo of a dude that's like his best friend that he talks to, and some great sort of little comedic beats there as well. So yeah, definitely go and check this one out in the cinema. And when I went, it was quite late, and even then, it was still fairly packed out. So I think, don't know how well it's going to do, but yeah, it's Disney, so anything can happen with Disney. So yeah, let me know what you think of the film, and let me know what your favourite Dwayne The Rock Johnson film has been lately, and I shall see you in the next video.